Hi, I'm psychiatrist Dr. Janet Taylor, and very pleased to have with me Identigene customer Dr. Randy Polisky and his son Matthew Figueroa. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Randy, I'm going to start with you. Tell us your story.
In a nutshell, my last semester of college back in the 60s, I was dating a lady who kind of disappeared that I couldn't find anywhere. Nobody knew where she'd gone. And I ended up graduating and going directly into the Army, and I was in basic training across the country when I got a package in the mail. And I opened it up and it said something to the effect of, "Dear Randy, I'm pregnant with our child." It went on to say that my parents don't want a scandal, can't afford a scandal, and they've taken me out of state to an unwed mother's home. I cannot divulge the location, and I will not be able to keep the child. One day in March, I think it was, I got a letter that was dated January 12th, 1969, and it said, "This morning I gave birth to our child," excuse me, "to our child. And he looks exactly like you. Your hair, your eyes, your nose." And she gave him up for adoption that day. I thought to myself that I wanted to respect whatever situation my son might be in and wait until he turned as an adult. So I waited 18 years before I started looking, and spent the next 26 years looking. I did everything from private eyes to phone calls to, I actually did videos and sent them to Oprah, Sally Jesse Raphael, Jerry Springer. Once the internet came about, I went on all of the different adoptive sites and registered. Come to find out, the reason that nothing ever clicked was she never put my name on the birth certificate. Back in the spring of last year, I Googled her name and I found her obituary notice in the alumni newsletter. And it said, survived by her son, and it said Matthew Figueroa, and then it named the city. So I called there about 4 or 5 times, and finally I got someone saying, "This is Matthew."
I said, "This is Matthew. Figueroa." "Yeah." "Were you born January 12th, 1969? "Yeah." And then he said, "At 7:07 a.m. And in my life to that point, I had met my birth mom. I thought I had met my birth dad. And the only person in my life, including any prior family relationships, that knew my birth time was my birth mom. And Randy's calling and he says, "At 7:07 a.m. And I go, "You have my attention." And he says, "Now, you don't know me. I'm your birth father. I'm your dad." And I said, "Sorry about your bad luck, but I already met my dad. I already met the person who was supposed to be my birth father. I'm not opposed to the fact that you might be my dad." I said, "But I already met my birth father." And he said, "Well, what would it take?" And I said, "DNA. That's pretty much the quickest answer for anybody these days because it's reliable and sure tell sign of, who somebody is." And so he goes, "Oh, well, that could be really costly and probably really hard for us to do." I said, "You walk into the drugstore, they're sitting on the shelves." He's like, "Really?" And so I get a call. I couldn't sleep last night. I went to a Walmart. It was open 24 hours. And I got this DNA test from Identigene. And he said, "I've swabbed my mouth. I've already enclosed it and I've overnighted it to the company. Now I'm overnighting this to you. You're going to get it by noon tomorrow. And, take your time. Just swab and send it in." Got the results in, and the results were 1 in 1,164,000 and some odd number that he's not the dad. So he absolutely 99% possibility he's the contributor. So I called the guy that I called Pop for 18 years. I called him up and said, "Hey," and I said, "Hey, there's this guy that surfaced that says he's my dad." And I said, "Are you willing to do a DNA test? Because we're going to do one." He said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So Identigene, actually. I called Identigene. I said, hey, can we add a contributor? Yeah, we have a program just for this purpose. So he sent it in, and it came back 0 and 1. And the accessibility was incredible to be able to go online and see the results instantly. As soon as you get the call, or as soon as you get an email from them, you can go right on and see where the matches are and where they're not.
Sounds like it's been quite a journey for both of you, and it came down to the willingness and your diligence about finding Matthew, and also it looked like you were on your own search, and it came down to this Identigene DNA test that luckily both of you, it was a priority for both of you to figure it out. What's next for your relationship?
He's already been out to Arizona. Once we met in April, he said, why don't, we're thinking about taking a trip. And he and his gal came out and spent some time with us and his grandkids, and they've grown to know Grandpa Randy and Miss Bonnie, and we Skype daily, or once a week maybe, and about every 3 days we talk on the phone. So he's coming out in March for spring training, and we're just moving on.
We just thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for letting me.
And keep working on your relationship and your friendship. Thank you.
We'll get there.